One, the Prophet ﷺ told us that Ali is one of the 10 heaven bound. So he is one of the top 4 in Islam men, without a doubt. Two, the Prophet told us ﷺ that there will come a time where 2 great factions of the Ummah would fight, and the wrong party would lead Ammar ibn Yasir to be killed. And Ammar ibn Yasir was with the army of Ali ibn Abi Talib. So we know that the other side was wrong. 3, we know for certain that Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, may Allah be pleased with him and with his father, was the brother-in-law of the Prophet ﷺ, meaning that the Prophet was married to his sister Habiba, the mother of the believers, and that he was one of the scribes of the Wahi. So whenever the Prophet received revelation of the Quran, Muawiyah was ordered to come and write these verses, which is an honor that is not given to any Tom, Dick, or Harry. Fourthly, we believe that the companions are in Jannah, and that they are among those whom Allah had His pleasure be upon them. Allah is pleased with them, and they're pleased with Allah Azza wa Jal. So it would be
Okay, so now he has mentioned 4 things, and over here he kind of goes back
logical for us to go and try to sort out what.
Okay, so now he's basically saying because of these 4 reasons, it is illogical to sort out. Now, let's talk about these one by one. First of all, the 10 heaven-bound narrations. It's a famous narration amongst the non-Shia, but there is a question on this narration itself. When was it highlighted? Because it is not found in the Shia text. And we know that there were a lot of narrations which were manipulated. We know that the narrations and the hadith were not collected for the 150 years, and there was a big massacre of the narrators, as well as it was prohibited to write down the narrations. And during the time of Banu Umayyah, they actually instituted the industry of fabricating narrations so that they can elevate the status of the companions who had usurped the right of the Prophet's household. So it's hard to believe that this narration is true, first of all. And the reason I say it, not because Imam Ali alayhi salam is within those 10 people. I am saying that because regardless of whether that narration is true or not, Imam Ali alayhi salam is already the husband of the leader of the Jannah, the women of the Jannah. He is the nafs of the Prophet, and he is the father of the leaders of the youth of Jannah, according to all the narrations in all the sects of Islam. So Imam Ali alayhi salam is excluded. It doesn't matter like for him to be among those 10. They're like other people who it negates. They have problems if they're not part of that narration. So that's one. So I just want to highlight that this scholar, so-called scholar, showing this particular narration, bringing this up, it doesn't make any sense over here in the conditions or to elevate the status of Imam Ali alayhi salam. The second point I want to mention is Ammar ibn Yasir's Shahada. Now, if you think about this narration, and I will leave this to Dr. Hatim because Dr. Hatim has talked about this extensively in a separate audio. So we will talk about that at that point. What was the narration, how it was presented, but the way this person is presenting this narration, it is out of context. And that is what they have done, and you're going to hear more about that second aspect. The third one is scribe of Wahi. Dear brothers, I want to highlight that the criteria of the status of a person is being the sister or the brother of a woman who was married to the Prophet, or if it is being the scribe of Wahi. Let me give you examples from the Quran of people who were the sons of the Prophet and they were taken away by the flood, the son of Prophet Nuh alayhi salam, and being the wife of the Prophet, like the wives of Prophet Lut or Prophet Nuh, they were not delivered from the azab. They were part and they were consumed by the azab. Those are examples where being if being wife of the prophet doesn't matter, being the son of the prophet doesn't matter, then how can being the brother of the wife matters? So that's one point. The second point about uh, the scribe of the Wahi. So first of all, we don't know if it's a question mark. Like this person said, I wasn't there. Similarly, I can say I wasn't there. I don't know if that person was scribing a scribe of the Wahi. And the second one, I don't know if that was like another made up story later on, because honestly, these people were not Muslims till the 8th year of Hijrah, meaning they became Muslims after the conquest of Makkah. So most of the majority of the Islam, the 20 some years of Islam had already passed. There were only 1.5 years left in Islam before these guys became Muslims, including Muawiyah and his father and the clan. So let's not talk about that aspect. And even if it was true that this person was the scribe of Wahi, we know there is a person named Satan who had Shaitan, who was also known as Iblis, but that person had certain things that were going for him. This person was a big devoted worshiper, and then he was also he was really elevated high amongst the angels because of his ibadah. So he had done a lot of ibadah and he was really up there, but because of one action that he did not prostrated and did bay'ah to the Khalifa of Allah, that is Prophet Adam alayhi salam, he was thrown out. And all his amal were negated. Now, if someone like Iblis, also known as Azazil before he became Iblis, he can be thrown out after doing all of these good deeds. I'm pretty sure that if a normal human being who hasn't done a lot of good deeds, who has been a non-Muslim for the past 20 years after Islam had come, whose father and himself had fought against the Prophet, and who had been worshipping the idols for his life, he hasn't done a lot of ibadah, and then he is standing up against the command of the wali of Allah, not only from the religious perspective but also from a worldly perspective. I'm pretty sure all of his amal, including being scribe of a Wahi, which I question, but even then, if that is the case, his amal can be thrown out instantaneously because he stood up against the Khalifa selected by Allah. So we're not gonna even discuss that point. Now the fourth point is companions in Jannah. If all the companions are in Jannah, this person is saying, then for whom was Surah Jummah revealed? For whom Surah Bara'ah was revealed? Who are the munafiqeen? Who are the ones who are condemned and talked about badly in the Quran? What about Masjid Zarar? What about all of these things that Allah is talking about when Allah mentions in Surah Al-Ma'idah that, O Prophet, convey the message and we will protect you from the Zalimeen? When the Prophet conveyed the message, all of the people were Muslims at the time at Ghadirahum. So there were among them some Zalimeen among the Muslims. So who are those? So if all of these things are mentioned for Muslims who are with the Prophet ﷺ, then the question comes up that who are these people and who are the ones that are being condemned and admonished and talked badly about by Allah in the Quran. So not everyone is going to Jannah. Yes, the people who are going to Jannah among the companions, they are amazing. There is no comparison. There are companions like Migdad, Ammar, like the people who stood up in the battle of Badr, the people who fought with the Prophet. Those are true people, but there are people who do not have the right, who have not, who have been condemned in Quran.